Hello and welcome to the first video of 2024. I have made some progress in the tiny garden since my last upload. I did take a couple of days off over Christmas and New Year to recharge, but fear not, progress has been made on the redesign and today is episode 3 and I'm so excited to be bringing you along. So I spent the afternoon yesterday prepping everything for today's project, which is to build a new raised bed in the garden. Inside that is going to go my cherry tree. I'm a little bit worried about my cherry tree because it's only in a small 50-litre container at the minute. So I'm not sure. It's more than likely root bound. It's been in that pot for 2 seasons now because we're going into our 3rd growing season. And I'm basically decided to make it bigger than I originally planned. The original plan was 1 metre squared and I've decided to make it 90 by 150 so that it actually fits into the space and flush with where I have the shed at the minute. But it also will allow me a bigger space for flowers. So the flower bed is going to be a lot bigger and it's going to be a permanent feature. And I cannot wait because I think come spring and summer, when everything's abundant, the flowers are going to look amazing. And the one thing I learned from last year's gardening season is how important getting pollinators into your garden is. A lot of my fruits on my pumpkins, especially before I cut them off, they didn't pollinate. So I just think I didn't have enough pollinators in the garden at that point. So super duper duper excited. I have, there's a beautiful herring. Oh, that's so amazing. So in this new raised bed planter, I'm trying to take use of the vertical space as much as I can. So I have 3 tiers and I have them stacked up in a really cool pattern. And I think when this is filled with all the veggies, it's going to look absolutely amazing. It is absolutely gorgeous around here. And I really hope you're able to appreciate the beautiful landscape that's behind me and around me. Some beautiful waterfalls, little streams, lakes, and hopefully the camera's doing it justice. But if not, I do have a new camera on the way. I think it's coming next week, but it's one of those cameras that you can put like a proper actual lens on. So I don't think the lens comes until the end of January, which is fine. But in February, hopefully, I'll be able to like improve like my video quality and make sure my shots aren't overexposed, because I could be pretty white right now from the sun reflecting off my very, very pale Irish skin that I inherited from my father. So although I do love the camera that I'm filming on, it is just like, it will be so like sad obviously to not be filming on this camera anymore, because I had so many memories with it and it's got me so far in the start of my YouTube journey. I will be upgrading my camera, so stay tuned and I'll show you what camera I get and what it all looks like, and we'll try and figure out how it works and hopefully get some good videos out to you guys. So my New Year's resolution for this year is to get more steps in. I know I mentioned this in a previous video on the channel that I want to get a bit more active. So I am out with Rue in this most beautiful, beautiful place. I'm walking through like a little fairy garden at the moment, which is super cool. And Rue is just loving all the smells and everything that's going around. So I'm aiming to do 2.5 kilometers on this walk, and I will keep you updated with all my targets and my stats, and hopefully I can drop a couple of dress sizes in a couple of months. And yeah, you guys can keep me accountable. I know that not everybody's interested in that, but if you are, then I hope to do a couple of hikes and a couple of walks and video, that kind of thing this year, as well as updating you on the garden. Obviously the garden is quite quiet at the minute, but we still have a load of renovation work to do. Not much is growing. I don't plan to sow much this side of winter. We haven't really had our first frost, so I just feel like I'm just going to set myself up for failure if I start sowing seeds now and it hasn't even got that cold yet. So the walk I'm on at the minute is about 2.5 kilometers. I've got Rue here patiently waiting. She's letting out a few little cries. Here she is. And she's just dying to get going. So I'm going to pop the camera away and we will head back and I'll show you more detail on what I'm talking about when I'm saying I've changed my mind, because I've got one more plan that I haven't shared with you that I think is going to be super cool if I'm able to pull it off. So we're almost there. I've just got one more layer to do and it's looking quite good. So I'm super happy with that. I'm really impressed. And I just tried to make it, all the corners look as like kind of together as I could. So I'm really, really happy. It's looking good. One more layer and that is going to be an absolutely massive flower bed. But I'm just going to give you a little update on my other raised bed that I have in the corner. So as I was saying to you earlier today, over Christmas I started working on this project, which is my new vertical pallet collar raised bed planter, and I think it looks absolutely amazing. I am so happy with the way it's turned out, and I think it's going to be a great way for me to be able to use vertical space. I've seen a few people growing kind of like carrots and root veggies and really kind of tall beds, so maybe I might do that along the back here. I'm not quite sure yet. As you know, my plans change over and over again, but I think it's going to be amazing little salad, root veggie type bed here, which I'm really looking forward to get going in spring. I could even put some flowers along the back that would then grow up the wall, which I think would be really cool, and obviously cover all that nasty breeze block that's there. So yeah, a couple of you did actually say to me to maybe paint this, but the thing is I rent at the minute, so I don't want to start painting walls in case I upset my landlord. So that's why I've kind of left it the way it is. I probably could jet wash some of the back of that, just because it obviously has gotten maybe a little bit damp with the weather and things, because that wall over there looks a lot better. It's kind of a bit lighter in colour. But yeah, I think once spring kicks in, summer is here, this will all look amazing and completely different, and it'll just be like an abundance of greenery. So I'm not too worried. And then obviously we're going to put the cherry tree in the new planter that's going just in the area in front of me here, and it would obviously leave a lot of space here for a new bed to go in. So I showed you a rough mock-up with where I thought the beds are going to go this spring, but obviously I've changed my mind once over here, and I've also changed my mind again for the raised bed that I said was going to go along the back here behind me. So actually I'm not going to turn it into a brassica cage like I had originally shown you, because I'm hoping to grow my brassicas not in this garden. So I've actually put my name down for an allotment. I've gone to, I think, 5 or 6 allotments, I think, in the area, and I'm hoping that I will have some good news maybe at the end of January for one of them. And if that one doesn't come through, I have one more that I have my name down on, which I probably won't find out until March. But that's the reason I've changed my mind, is because I took your advice, I put my name down on a list. I've actually been on some of the lists since October, so fingers crossed I will be able to grow my brassicas on an allotment rather than here. And instead of the brassica cage here, I'm going to make a miniature polycube. So that's to grow all my tomatoes, and I'm going to try some chilies this year and some peppers, because obviously my peppers didn't do the best last year. So that is kind of the news and the update. Everybody keep your fingers crossed, and hopefully I do get an allotment, which would be absolutely amazing, because I just need more space to keep growing. And yeah, really can't wait. I've had some great chats with some of the committee members. So in Ireland, I think that the allotments aren't actually run by the council. They seem to be sort of like voluntary groups or bits of land that are given to the community, and then they're run by a group of volunteers that are part of the committee. So I've been chatting to a couple of the committee members, and where like some allotment holders, committee teams don't have a space, they've like referred me to another place in the area. So everybody has been super helpful, trying to help me find an allotment. Obviously they're few and far between no matter where you are, but fingers crossed, guys, for me that I do get an allotment, because I'd love that. And if I don't, I need to think of a plan B for the brassicas, because we're not putting a brassica cage here anymore. But enough of my chit chat. I'm going to show you my beautiful broad beans that have popped up. If you were here last year, you know, if you know, you know. I absolutely love broad beans, and I had an unbelievable harvest. They were literally like here, they were taller than me. I kind of got sidetracked last year with growing plants that were like way taller than me rather than how productive they were. So I'm going to kind of nip that in the bud this year a little bit and kind of contain the height of my plants a little bit. But yeah, I'll show you the broad beans. They've popped out of the soil. I'm super happy, because I actually grew these about 4 weeks later than I did last year. So I was a little bit unsure whether they would germinate or not, and the temperatures were getting colder. So I'm absolutely thrilled to say I think I've had literally about 95% germination. They're looking unbelievable. Have them covered with a cloth just because they are so young at the minute. So at night time I'm covering them with a cloth just to keep obviously any cold temperatures off them, because I don't want the leaves going black. I just need them enough time to obviously establish themselves and start shooting up in spring. So there is all my updates. So enough of my waffle. Let's crack on, finish the raised bed planter, plant it up, move the cherry tree, and maybe we'll plant out some bulbs in there, and I'll show you what I've got for my spring bulb collection. And here is the finished product. I'm so happy with it. I think it looks absolutely amazing. The birds are just a hive of activity in this area now, which is amazing. And that concludes the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye.